Why are men often overlooked as victims of domestic abuse? That is a question that a lot of us have been trying to point to for the past, couple of years now, where apparently, you talking about some male victims apparently makes you hateful against women, and a lot of us who try to make this argument about domestic violence against men because apparently it doesn't happen to according to some feminists out here who make the claim that men can't be abused by women. It's honestly pretty sickening that they even and a pretty sexist take that they a lot of feminist hardcore men hating feminists out here make the claim that a woman cannot abuse a man because they're not strong enough, even though these are the same people that claim that women are strong, they are empowered, they are independent, they can do whatever they please. Just some backwards double standard crap like that to make this crazy claim, to make this sexist claim that women cannot abuse a man and men cannot be victims of domestic violence or domestic abuse of a woman. They would say, "Oh, this is all nothing but what men do. Men are all men, and yes, they literally say this. All men know how to do is be abusers, apists, and all that stuff." But they don't take into account about how many women actually are doing the same thing towards men. They are, assaulting men, sexually and all that stuff. I literally did a video like a couple weeks ago where this one CEO, I think at Google, she assaulted a man. Whether or not she was drunk, it doesn't matter if you was drunk or not. It should not have never happened. But the man pressed charges because she kept on doing it constantly and constantly and constantly. And instead of her getting punished, he was the one who got punished for even coming up with the allegation of what she did to him. The man got punished for something that the woman did, and it's honestly pretty sickening that we are literally at that level where a man can't even speak up because he will literally get his accusation, swept under the rug, like what he is feeling does not matter. This is what we are at right now in the year 2023. And actually, this is going on since 2016, maybe even a lot more longer than that, where a lot of men have been victims of abuse, and nobody even cares because it's all about female victims. Even though women have all these programs for abuse, even when it pertains to breast cancer and all that stuff, but there is no programs for men who have been did wrong by a woman. And then when there are some people on the internet who some of these red pill guys, I ain't talking about the fresh and fits. Like some actual people who are down the middle when it comes to certain things. They try to be fair when it pertains to certain issues in the red pill community, because you already know the blue pill community is not even going to talk about this ordeal because it's just some beta simps in that community that makes this sexist claim that women cannot abuse a man in any way, shape, or form, even though they absolutely can. There are literally thousands, maybe even millions of stories out there on when it pertains to Reddit and YouTube where men have expressed their pain and trauma when it pertains to certain women out here who are abusive towards them. But those same people who even try to come out, they get mocked by certain people, especially when it pertains to the blue pill guys. They get mocked by those individuals because how could you just let yourself be abused by a woman because you can't do anything about it for real? You can make a claim, you can make a police report, but majority of those cases that it was a man getting abused by a woman, those are not taken seriously. It is not. Like you would have these shows like Law and Order claim that we take those reports seriously, but they actually don't. They don't. Police, there are literally women out here who have did some guys out here hecka wrong, abused them, sexually assaulted them or just assaulted them in general, and they get away scot-free. Or this is the one thing that they also hate talking about: falsely accusing a man of something that he didn't do, like rape. They like some feminists out here, or some feminist channels out here hate that talking point. And anytime people try to bring it up, such as myself or even some guys on here on the internet, they just say, "Oh, well, if man stop raping, then maybe women when I had to falsely accuse." Like, that's it. I'm serious. That is an actual answer that they be giving right there. But I've been ranting on too much about this. Let me go ahead and read out this article from the Center for Social Justice.org.uk. Why are men often overlooked as victims of domestic abuse? By Rita Broberg. Domestic abuse is routinely portrayed as a gendered crime perpetrated by men against women. Yet the startling truth is that 1/3 of domestic abuse victims are men. The Office for National Statistics estimates that 1.6 million women and 757,000 men reported abuse in 2020. And this article came out in June 14, 2022. Despite representing such a significant proportion of victims, men are silenced by the hostility and incredulity they encounter with opening up about their experiences to the police and safeguarding services. Yeah, because you'll be labeled as weak. That's why. By both sides. Like, there are some toxic guys in the red pill community, and then there are some hella toxic guys in the blue pill community that say, "Oh, you are being abused by women. That means you're weak." Actually, no. There are actually some blue pill guys that will say this is empowering because this actually is making women stronger, knowing that there are some that this in quotations creepy guys out there that thinks that they can just try to get one over on men, even though it's always vice versa. Think about it. A lot of these cases, like I said before, a woman can falsely accuse a man of, doing the unthinkable, or even abuse, physically or mentally, and the police will be at the door in like 5 minutes, not knocking on the door, probably busting on the door, have the men in handcuffs, have their knee on their neck, their knee on their back on their neck. This system is highly in favor of women, but you have some pro-female podcasters or channels out there that claim that the system is built for men, even though these allegation stories favor more for women. But that's a conversation that they don't want to have. Support agencies often fail to recognize the abuse of men and overlook cases involving female abusers. Recent studies of homicide reviews highlight a lack of training and support in the recognition and handling of male domestic abuse. Mankind Charity reports that in 2021, out of 238 refugee spaces for victims of domestic abuse, only 58 were committed to supporting male survivors. Another study conducted by Bristol University details how male victims seldom get asked about their domestic relationships by health professionals. Yeah, because they don't care. Because they don't care. They don't care. They don't care if you're a man if you get abused. They don't care if you are a man if you have some mental problems. Think about it. How many people actually care about? How many people actually care about if a man is going through some like mental trauma or something like that, and he might do something dangerous because he didn't seek professional help, or he might off himself. Nobody cares. And then when there are people in the YouTube space, Twitter space, Instagram space that says, "Yo, you are not alone here. We want to help out. Just reach out, talk to us. We'll probably have some live stream going on. You guys can tell us about your experience from a lot of good red pill guys. I ain't talking about the fresh and fit, those idiots. Some actual, maybe better bachelor, strong, successful male who's actually down the middle with a lot of these ordeals, these talking points. He say like, "Yo, reach out. We'll give you some advice." There are some guys who will talk to you, actually try to hear your story out. But any videos or channels like that is toxic masculinity to a lot of these individuals on the blue pill side, the pro female man hating demographic, which you already know what I'm talking about. Again, I'm running out too much. Let me go ahead and get on with this article. The female helpline told him that they could not offer him any help as they did not have the funding to support male victims. So, again, if you're a male and you are a victim, nobody cares about you. The social stigma surrounding domestic abuse is even stronger than when the victim is a man and the perpetrator is a woman. As James, and that's a quotation because I'm pretty sure they want to protect this identity, a domestic abuse survivor trapped in an abusive relationship for over a decade, told the CSJ, the doctor dismissed the bruises and welts on my arms as no cause for concern. The lack of empathy and support for this doctor stopped him from seeking further help, and the abuse continued. Okay, I would say this though: if you are in an abusive relationship, whether or not you are a man or a woman, get the hell out of there. It's not worth it to be in an abusive relationship because this is out of love. It doesn't matter if you love this chick, if you love the person. If they are abusing you, they don't love you. I don't care what some people might try to say out here. Oh, I might change this person. He didn't. He or she didn't mean it. Just stuff like that. It does not matter whether you're a man or woman. If you are in an abusive relationship, in a toxic relationship, get the hell out of there. It is not worth it to endure all the pain and suffering, and then if something really bad happens, nobody should endure any type of abuse like that. Nobody. So let me go ahead and keep on going with this. I'm sorry, what did I leave at? The lack of empathy and support from the doctor stopped them from seeking further help, and the abuse continued. It instilled in me the sense that as a man, recognition of my position as a victim of domestic abuse would not be forthcoming, James told us. After having thoughts of self-harm, James had to call a female helpline. Male helplines do not work on weekends. The female helpline told him that they could not offer him any help as they did not have the funding to support male victims. James continued to live in fear of his wife's aggression. Okay, so it was his wife that was abusing him. And I'm pretty sure in this situation, if he tried to divorce his wife out of abuse, the court might have, depending on which state you are in, the court may have thrown it out, or if it did go through with it, then accidentally hit stop recording on my OBS. But yeah, what was I at? Yeah. So if this was put thrown in the court, the court system would automatically look to him as the abuser, because in the system where the system is severely favorable towards women, especially when it comes to abuse victims, it doesn't matter if she was the aggressor or not. The court system will automatically point to him as the violent person because of what's between his legs, or because of what he is. If he's any guy in an abusive relationship, if he's the one who's abused, he's the one who is screwed over. Because, like I said, depends on what state you are in. She could automatically twist it around towards the man, and make the victim out to be the aggressor, because all you gotta do is shed a little crocodile tears, and then boom, depending on the judge or even the state, the court system will automatically look towards him as he's the biggest piece of scum on earth. But in this society where it's severely okay to trash on men, even if the man is severely innocent, he's never done anything wrong in his life. He's a law-abiding citizen. He actually respects women. He actually respects himself as a man to just go out there, do his own thing. Probably go out to a bar, grab a couple drinks after work, come back home. If he could not know any type of woman. He could not have a personal woman. He could not have even touch a woman, but there are some crazy behind women out here that will literally abuse a man, or claim that a man is the father of their child. And here's the thing, no, for real, I literally seen some stories like this where some women made some claims that a random guy was her baby father, and he did, without even looking into it for a DNA test, boom, they automatically made him pay child support. And if when it was proven that he wasn't the father, he still had to pay child support. This is how the system is towards guys, and how it's severely favorable towards women. Guys, I'm for real. This is crazy right here. The crazy world we're living in, where you don't even need no evidence. If you have a dick between your legs, you're automatically guilty. But let me go ahead and read this. Hopefully, I can go and leave where I was at. James continued to live in fear of his wife's aggression, and of her impact on their children, and they also got kids too. So, yeah, this is also a plus. Who were also experiencing the abuse during a particularly terrible act of extreme violence. His wife was driving a knife to her throat and threatening to blame James for hurting her, while calling the police and then hanging up. The 7-year-old daughter ran to tell the neighbors what was happening, and eventually the police arrived, intervened, and arrested her. James has since managed to escape his abusive relationship as taking custody over his children. Well, that's good right there. You know, the fact that she was a crazy ass bitch, threatened to off herself and then blame James. It's good that the police actually believed the daughter, because the daughter actually went out and said, yo, my mom is doing this to my dad. Can you please help my dad? So cops did actually actual good thing in this situation. So that's actually good. There are lots of missed opportunities to identify and support male victims of domestic abuse. No one understands the issue. As a result, professionals less readily recognize victims of men feel that they won't be believed or taken seriously. Of course they won't, because in this society where, you know, a man is the abuse victim and the abuser was a woman, those men would get laughed at. Even though we all know a lot of us with common sense know that if a man does speak out, he would get laughed at by a bunch of toxic ass people, feminists, beta males, simps, even some idiots over there who are red pill, like the fresh and fit kind of guys. But let's keep on going with this. Even recent policy documents make it difficult for male victims to speak out. The Home Office recently released a report titled "Supporting Male Victims of Crimes Considered Violence Against Women and Girls," which classifies male survivors under aggression done to women and girls. Both survivors and charities oppose this term, as it does not explicitly recognize men as victims of abuse, and is therefore difficult for male victims to relate to, and further delegitimizes their traumatic experiences. The CSJ's newly released report, "No Honor in Abuse: Harnessing the Health Service to End Domestic Abuse," calls for male victims to be classed as victims of violence against men and boys, and pushes for a parallel strategy in healthcare and charities to provide equally strong support for female and male victims of domestic abuse. The CSJ also calls for NHS England and the Department of Health and Social Care to emphasize the responsibility of health professionals in helping victims of abuse through introducing statutory training in the identification and support of victims of domestic abuse. With proper training, more funding, and less prejudice, we could destigmatize views of male victims of domestic abuse and provide much needed support to those support to the violent humiliation. Okay, so the woman in this article, apparently she did actually do some thorough research out here and say that, like, yo, there are men who are victims of abuse when it pertains to a woman. So it's cool that it seems like she's not biased at all when it pertains to a situation. But you already know when there are some extreme feminist man-hating women on this channel, whether it be YouTube, Odyssey, maybe even Rumble, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. There are a bunch of females out there, some toxic females that would be like, there is no chance in hell that a woman can abuse a man. If a man claims that he was a abuse victim from a woman, he's lying to get brownie points, and he's making shit up, stuff like that. It's like it's crazy that we are in this society where male victims cannot even express themselves because they will be labeled as weak, and those guys, they automatically know if they even try to come out against this, nobody would take them seriously. And I'm pretty sure that highest that number 700,000 abuse victims compared to the women's a million point 1.6 million. I'm pretty sure that number is higher. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that number is higher. But you know, there are men out there who would not come up and say, "Yo, I was done this way by a woman." So, like I said, you got some people like the Better Bachelors, the Strong Successful Male channels like that, and where you have like thousands and thousands of men who literally share their story to them to spread a message or get their story out, what happened to them. And then, you know, you have some people in that community say like, "Yo, man, it's gonna be all good. You know, I'm sorry this happened to you, man. Keep your head up. You know, reach out to anybody if you need help or if you just need somebody to talk to, man." Like a community like that, like these hardcore blue pill pro female anti-man podcasts or channels would be like, you know, just discredit everything those guys say. Those guys are just doing it for brownie points and stuff like that, even though they have none to gain from, you know, falsely making a story like this. But guys, like I said, man, it does not matter if you are a man or woman. You should not be in an abusive relationship, man. It's not worth it. I don't care how much you might love this person. I don't care if you have I don't care if you have a child with this person. Yeah, some people will say, "Oh, well, Blaze, you don't have a child, so you don't understand." If I was in the same situation, I would get the hell out and fight for custody for my child if I did have one, because it's not worth it to have my child look at me and get physically abused every goddamn day by a psychotic ass woman. It's not worth it. And the same vice versa when it comes to a woman being abused by a man. Get your child, fight for custody, move away, straight in order. Does not matter. And it is not worth it to be in an abusive relationship. It's not worth it. But guys, let me know what y'all think about it in comment section below, man. If you guys like the story, man, like and subscribe to the video, hit the notification bell. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.